Hi, everybody. This is the video that nobody wants to make, but I feel is just really important. Um, I don't know who's going to see this eventually. Obviously, friends and family, but if there's any way that this video can help anybody out in the future, um, that's I'm more than welcome for anybody sharing this for any reason. Um, my name is Nik Blumish. I was diagnosed with uh, glioblastoma multiforme in October 2008. Um, there hasn't been any point in my life that has changed as drastically and as quickly as when that happened. It was instantly out of work, out of everything. You very quickly reevaluate your life, um, make changes. You usually, the way that it shows up is a dramatic change in your life. Mine was little bit of seizures in my leg, couldn't walk, um, and eventually went to bigger things. Tried lots of treatments, did the cancer hair loss or radiation, chemo, all that stuff. I've always been a very positive person, and unfortunately, I've hit actually the earlier version of when I was given 18 to 24 months, and it's looking like it's going to be on the more 18-month time of this. But that's really not what this video is about. If you're watching this, you already know that. Um, what this video is for is really more to pass on ideas. Um, I Stephanie and I didn't have any kids. Um, I always thought that I was going to do something big in my life, and that was going to be what I passed on. That didn't happen. Um, and so I'm going to try and make this be as close to that as I can be. Where I was talking about my life just instantly changing, I was 35, 36 when I was told I have 18 months to live. And to be honest, these kinds of things, I've always been a very philosophical person. I always thought about things pretty deeply. I may have only talked to a certain number of people about them because they are complex, and I've always been really thinking and reevaluating what my thoughts are. But the truth is, I'm not really afraid of death. I don't think any of us should be. It's the one thing that every single thing in this entire universe is going to go through. It's just you don't know when. I I am afraid of. I don't know if fear is the right word, but I am concerned with the process of dying, of actually going through it, and like the feeling of it, the feeling of, is it going to be painful? But I am not worried about what happens after. Um, I I have a lot to say on this. I've spent at least 10 years really thinking about this deeply. I've always wanted to write a book on this, and I've told very few people about this. And one of the things I deeply regret is not writing that book, even over the last year. So I'm going to make a separate video for people who are interested in something like that, and explain as much as I can in as short a time as I can. But that's going to be something that's a lot deeper than just something to show at a funeral is going to be about. So if that's not your thing, that's okay. It's about religion, it's about spiritualism, and it's about all that kind of stuff. And to be honest, it's not going to be interesting to a lot of people, but I've always been into that kind of stuff. So listen to that if you feel like it. There's so much I want to talk about. There's so much inside of me that I want to release. And it doesn't matter how long this video is. It could be 24 hours, and it's not going to be enough. I'm going to try to make this reasonably short. I'm going to try and give it credit, and let the bigger ideas air out. I'm really sad because of the experiences that I'm not going to have with other people. And to be a little selfish, the experiences that people are going to have without me. Especially Stephanie. That's the big one. She's my best friend. I knew that I was in love with her. We met online. We met online before online dating was a thing. It was a random meeting in a chat room, and within a couple of days we were talking on the phone. Well, actually, the day that we met, we were taking. It was before webcams were a thing. This wasn't possible, and we started to, but we could take photos and send them back and forth. And no, that's not what I'm talking about, those kinds of photos. But we started our relationship making a stupid face competition. And so we take a picture of just an ugly face and send it to each other. And you'll all be happy to know that Steph won the competition. And we started talking on the phone a couple of days, or maybe even the next day. And then 1 month later, I went up to Toronto to see her. And I've been in love with her ever since. It was 15, 16 years ago now. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think of her. We've always had each other's backs. we've always had each other first thing in our minds. And I'm just really sad. It's not about me losing my experiences with her. I'm really sad that I can't give her all of me for the rest of her life. If there was any thing I'd ask anybody to do for me, it's not for me, actually. It's for themselves. Is I don't want my death to be remembered as I lived too short. I want it to be remembered as the positive things, the good memories. I realized I've had a lot of experiences with a lot of people in my life. Most of them, to be frank, were pretty short. I had a lot more acquaintances than close friends, but a whole ton of these acquaintances were really important to me, and I can look back at fondly. And when anybody thinks of me, that's what I want them to think of, is that one or two really great time we had together. And to be honest, that's what I feel like everybody should be doing for everybody else. Like it's too easy to look back and regret this or that, to look back on the bad things and or to look back and grieve that you can't have these good times anymore. Like that's true, but you can remember them and you can create new ones with new people that are different and exciting. And that's what I want everybody to do, including my wife, including Steph, including my family, my friends, everybody. I never had any kids. I never really wanted them. I always thought that if it happened, okay, but that wasn't really my interest. I did expect to have some big successes in life, business or something. That didn't really happen. But I have a lot of advice that I can pass on. I think I was always a really reliable person, and I always want to support other people as much as I can. And here's kind of what I have to give. I meet a lot of people who I realize aren't choosing what they want. They're letting the world just decide who they are for them. The truth is, you can be whoever you want to be. You just have to make a decision of what you want and how to get there, and have the willpower and the strength to focus on it day in, day out, and do it. There's nothing that feels better than a goal that you've decided on days, months, even years prior. And all of a sudden, poof, it's like magic. It just comes true. But it's not magic. It's just focusing on it. You know, you want you want to build a business, a successful business, go for it. You want, the best well-behaved kids, go for it, do it. Whatever you want, but you can't just sit back and expect this stuff to happen. It's a lot of work, but the feeling you get when it works is just so worth it. I wish every person in the world understood this. I wish everybody understood this. Now, what happened if they did? It sounds like competition all the time. Well, no, because we don't all want the same things. You should find out what you love and be the best at what that is. And how do you start doing that? Well, look at other people who are good at that. Start getting inspired by people. Um, you know, people tell me all the time, and this isn't a brag at all. People tell me a lot that I really inspire them, and I feel like that's really bizarre because all I do is do what I want to do. And that's all anybody has to do is do what they want to do. But the phrase "stand on the shoulder of giants," that's what it is. Look up what you want and just do it. Push further and harder than anybody else. Goals. Goals. I've lived my entire life based on goal setting. To be completely honest, this is the one that kind of hurts right now because I expected to get through this cancer by goal setting. So it's not a cure-all, it's not a miracle, but everybody should have goals. Short-term, medium-term, long-term goals that you're constantly working through. At every given moment, something is either in the form, in the front of your mind, or right there, or when you go to sleep in the background. It's a way to keep improving yourself, but the truth is, none of this is about you personally. It's about us. It's we're a big mass of living things, and we all have to work together. We have to do our part, together. And if my part is getting this message out, which frankly at this point that might be it, then that's what I can do. And you guys can take this, think on it, sleep on it, and figure out how your part, what you can do in it. And this sounds like such a big idea. Well, depending who you are, this sounds like either a massively big idea or a massively small idea. And to be honest, it's both. You have to think of it. It's a tiny, tiny idea that you have to think about every single day. If you have a goal you want to meet, figure out how to get there and take the steps to do it. You can do anything you want. You just got to focus on it. You just got to work on it. There's really just one more piece of advice I can leave to anybody, and I think this is the most important, is you can't really control the things that happen to you in life, but you can control how you react to them. If you practice on it, if you focus on it, you can make your life whatever it is you want it to be. So that's it. I'm just going to wrap this up with a quick little story about the first company I ever started or ever worked with. That was Brolic in Philadelphia. Um, I I was only with them while we were actually in college, and then a couple of months outside of when we graduated. And I do regret not staying in touch with them, but I do remember having really great memories with them. I learned a lot from everybody there. But beyond learning video work and business and things like that, um, I also got a taste for premium beers. And I want to, if you don't know it, I want to introduce all of you to my favorite beer, which seems really appropriate right now. La Fin du Monde. It's the end of the world. It's very cheap in Canada, not so much in the US. But I think it's appropriate. Cheers.